So, to further prove mine or anybody else's point, I want you to take a look at this. This is Wildbrain's Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube channel. And these episodes here, like Cry of the Wolf, Blast of the Past Part 1, Doomsday Project, Spy Hog, Druid Hedge, and I guess it kind of repeats a little bit, because you got a mixture of adventures in here. But again, Druid Hedge, The Void, Subsonic, that's from Season 1, Druid Hedge, Heads or Tails, the pilot, Sonic Racer, Game Guy, Warp Sonic, Subsonic again, Sonic Pascal, Heads or Tails, Blast of the Past 1 and 2. You know what those all have in common? And these are all within the past, not even year, past 7 to 10 months. You know what they all have in common? I'll show you. Let me get to... right here. All right. So what these have in common... I'm going to bring the thing back up. You see, it says Doomsday Project, right? That's the Sonic the Hedgehog, that's Wildbrain. That's the Sonic the Hedgehog Wildbrain YouTube channel, right? So I'm going to go over to here to the settings on YouTube, right? Look what it says up there. Huh? 1080p. That's right, 1080p. So, my question is, if Wildbrain's own channel here, if their own channel can do this within the past year, if their own channel can do this, like here's Spy Hog, the one before Doomsday, right? There's Sally and Bunny right there. But then again, we go over here, right? Sonic the Hedgehog and all that, 11 months ago, almost a year. We go over to settings, we go up, and oh, what does that say right there? Standing right next, right there. What does that say? That says 1080p. So my obvious question is, if Wildbrain's own Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube channel, if their own YouTube channel can do that, then what's up with Ncircle putting together what they did? Huh? I mean, is the license actually... I'm not saying it is, but, I'm not saying it is. But is the license with Ncircle and Wildbrain coming to an end? When it comes to, Sonic SatAM, and that's why they did what they did? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense that something, like here, this is one from 9 years ago. This is more than likely about around 480p, right? I can understand putting 480p on there. All right, I get that. But here, this is the episode No Brainer, and this was a year ago. And the others I showed you were, within a year, if not less. It's like, what's the problem here? Where's the disconnect that, is being made? I mean, if Wildbrain, the ones that have licensed Ncircle to distribute Underground and SatAM and Boom and Prime, if you will, if they've licensed them, you know, if they license Ncircle to distribute those on physical media, then why are they doing a better job at presenting higher quality for those shows? Now, and I'm not talking Boom and Prime because that's expected, because they came out during a time where, Ncircle has the excuse or has the reasoning to put them on Blu-ray, or at least has the valued argument to say, well, these came out in these past 10 years, so it makes more logical sense. I get that, but again, excluding Prime and Boom, we see what Discotech did and other studios are doing. It's like, where's the disconnect here that the person the company that's licensing you is able to put on a far better, superior picture quality, with a 30-plus-year-old cartoon, and you can't even bother to do the same. It doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't make sense. And that's what frustrates a lot of people. A lot of people will tune into YouTube, they will see that, and they'll be like, well, what's the issue here? There shouldn't be an issue with, Ncircle putting out a Blu-ray or more higher quality DVD set of 4, maybe 5, 6 discs for a show. It doesn't, it doesn't, to me, it just boggles my mind of, you look at Wildbrain, they're able to do a better job. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And again, it's like, you wonder if something's going on that, maybe Ncircle's going to be losing the SatAM distributing license, and maybe that's why they did what they did. Maybe the same as Underground. We don't know. But if Wildbrain can do something better than Ncircle, and if I said Wildbrain previously, I do apologize. I meant to say Ncircle. But if Wildbrain themselves can do a better job, putting stuff in 1080p, then Ncircle. Because again, like I said, you have to wonder if something's going on. If maybe Ncircle is going to be losing the distributing license to SatAM and Underground, and that's what they did. You have to wonder if maybe that's the reason or something else is going on, because to me, it just does not make sense. It just does not add up in any capacity. It really doesn't. I mean, they put on a far better for them to put on a far better picture than, a far better picture quality. The fact that they're able to put up to 1080p, it just blows my mind. And you talk, and people talk about, well, maybe they don't have the masters. Maybe the masters are bad. How are the masters bad there? How was it I just showed you bad? Something is not right. There is a disconnect. There is a disconnect, ladies and gentlemen, that does not add up. And I think a lot of people know that. And that's why it's also kind of frustrating on this Saturday morning, ironically, for me to even talk about this, because it just pisses me off, and I'm sure it pisses anybody else off even further. It's like, it's like, if you're Ncircle and you value DVD, you feel that's more suitable, that's more profitable, to sell and everything, when it comes to sell and distribute a full animated or live action series on, then you should know better. That you should be like, well, we value this more than the SD on BD or SD on 4K stuff, so guess what we're going to do? We're going to put all the episodes not on 2 discs or 1 disc or whatever, but we're going to put them on 4 discs, maybe 3 at the most, but 4 at the best, And that's it. Show that you care. Put effort. Say, hey, we're going to, if I'm Ncircle, I recall, unfortunately, the recent SatAM set, and And I send in a message and I say, look, we're recalling this because we're going to fix this problem and we're going to redistribute it as a 4-disc set instead of 2. To me, that's that's the best thing that they could do to make up for what they've done. And they know it. They know it. But still, it just boggles my mind that so when you look at something like this within a year, and I can click on it and I can show you what I'm talking about. I can show you what I'm talking about after they do the commercial here. But I could show you what I'm talking about and everything once again. And this, I think, is within the year. Within the year, right? Yeah. I mean, again, look at this. Look. If I can just get the remote here. Look at this. Okay, this is no brainer. This is like the 3rd episode of season 2. So you go here to settings. And you look up. And oh, what's that? Again, 1080p. 1080p. Again, that's what kind of I think frustrates Richard Anthony Kuta, Richard or R-A-K, as I would call him short, R-A-K, and people like Zara Nizrak and others like SatAM Historian and everything, and even myself. That's what kind of pisses us off, because even the newer generation, that they're trying to appeal to, instead of appealing to those that grew up with the original first 2 shows, or the original, first trio of shows, that being Adventures, SatAM, and Underground, even the newer generation that they're targeting more so with things like Boom and Prime, even they would be like, they would be like looking at that like, and then comparing it to the release Ncircle did, they'd be like, what's the problem? What's going on here? That doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. What's the problem? Why can't they just use those 1080 distortions? It doesn't make sense. And then again, what's crazy is, I talk about project. Let me see if it's still in here. I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I talk about Project A Evolution, right? These episodes here by A Evolution are all in 4K, and these are the widescreen versions. This is the playlist that they're on. The one above it, the one that's not highlighted, is the 4K 4x3, the 4K 4x3. These are the 4K 16:9 widescreen. And these are all restored, as you see it right there. It says all restored to 4K. Or all restored to 4K, basically. And that's amazing. I mean, look. See? And I'll put it right here. I'll bring it even up. Go over to settings. And look what it says right there. And that's somebody doing the episode. That's somebody doing the episode. And everything. And look how nice it looks. I mean, come on, seriously. It's like, if someone like Project AI Evolution, and even Wildbrain themselves can do a good job in restoring the picture quality to 1080p to the likes of 720p, several years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, to 1080p within the past year or two, to having someone like Project AI Evolution doing it as well and putting it up to 4K, it's like, what's Ncircle's excuse? There is no excuse. There has to be a disconnect going on, if not something happening behind the scenes that we don't know of. Because to me, the only reason I think they would do that, show less love to a show that they know people value more so than Underground, if you will, and even more so than what Discotheque did with Adventures, it tells me that something is going on. And people like Chris Johnson, he may or may not know what's happening. But I guarantee you, those that are above him, the people that I've emailed, the divisions I've emailed, and the emails I've sent, emails I've sent, basically to where you can talk to people, write them letters and stuff like that. Even those people, it's like they would know. I guarantee you, those people would probably know more about what's going on than what Chris does. Chris and people like him do. Because, again, it just boggles my mind that you have someone like Project AI Evolution right here being able to do what they've done. You have Wildbrain themselves being able to do what they did at 1080p. It just, the more I think about it, the more it just pisses me off, and I'm sure it pisses anybody else off. Like what's the issue? What is really going on here? Because this does not make sense. And I guarantee you, Ncircle, Wildbrain, Alliance Entertainment, Mill Creek, all of them, that are in a higher position are going to sift through those emails, read everything, watch what people have to say, and they're going to talk to people like Chris Johnson and hopefully talk to him and make him realize, hey, these people have a point. And I'm hoping someone at Wildbrain contacts him, or contacts Ncircle, and most specifically Chris Johnson, and makes him realize, hey, we put these episodes on 1080, we restored this series to 1080p quality. The least you could have done is put it on better quality disc-wise. Hopefully, I'm just saying I hope somebody does that. Because to me, it just, something just does not seem right here. Something's not connecting. And everybody watching this knows that. Just by looking at what I showed you, I think a lot of you probably know that. But let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you've come to that kind of revelation of, wait a minute, if Wildbrain can do this, why couldn't Ncircle? And if somebody like this Project AI Evolution or others like them could do what they've done, then why couldn't have Ncircle? Just saying. But let me know what your thoughts are, and until then, I am out.